after a little wash. Still a lot to be desired. But we're gonna see what we can do. So I've got this 5000 grit sandpaper that I like. It's sort of spongy. And I'm gonna do some color sanding here on this side of the hood first to see if all these issues that didn't come out with a good wash are gonna come out now. And so you can see already that a lot of those marks are gone. These ones are not gonna come out because they're actual chips in the paint. But it's looking way better already. What you can't probably tell is that it's not very glossy right now. That's because I sanded it. But I'm going to use a green pad and machine polish. I'm not going to go with a harsh compound just yet, or a harsh wool pad. I think I could get away with these. They're sort of middle of the road, not too light, not too coarse. And we're going to see what happens then. Okay, so I'm done polishing the hood. And of course, this was all just a crude test to see how it's going to react. Test the waters a little bit. But I think you can see it is shining nicely, even without doing some of the finer polishing and finishing polishing. I mean, this was just a rough machine polish, and it's still already shining like a mirror as far as I'm concerned. But you can also obviously see that it will be flawed throughout unless we go through and touch up some of these spots, which is possible. But overall, I think pretty pleasing. Alright, we've seen that the clean parts clean up and shine up nicely. Not really that much of a surprise though, to be honest. So what we're really curious about is how well these areas that have had the dirt applied by Disney, this is painted on dirt that we're looking at here, how this is going to measure up. So I'm going to go through the exact same process as I did on the hood, and I'm going to report back with what we have in the end. Alright, here is the quarter panel. All sanded out, cleaned up, polished, and I think it speaks for itself. I mean, you could absolutely just see your own reflection in it. There's the reflection of the door panel, easily seen. And the flaws in it are closer to non-existent than they are obvious. In fact, I think that this is the only flaw in the whole thing. And that might actually be more indicative of the rest of the car than the hood was. I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty confident that this is what we ought to do with this car. Okay, so here I've gone and done the rest of this side of the car a little more crudely than I've done those first few areas, just so we could get an even better idea of what we're dealing with here. More of the same, really. I mean, probably this scoop is in the worst shape. Not the scoop, but whale tail. It's really not bad overall. There's obvious issues. I mean, this and the same developing issue down here, I think definitely are things we could touch up. It's just hard to say overall that it's in such bad shape that it can't be lived with as it is. One thing I will say is that you can see, especially on the door, it's like the paint was not applied quite evenly. There's sort of darker areas and lighter areas. Like this area here almost looks like it's plain white, and then there's sort of a dark, almost greenish looking area here. And you see that throughout. So that's something to consider. I don't know if that's really ugly to you or what. And I know this is sort of pearlescent paint that changes depending on where you're standing, but I think it's just sort of is that way. But I don't know. I know if it was my car, I would leave it like this, do the rest of it, give it the same treatment.